Hello, grandbabies. It's Pops and best Pops ever, and got another cool story for you. And I hope you enjoy this one. I really like this one. So, anyway, the name of it is Christmas Night. Christmas Eve, 1776. A silent, swift race with the devil, a race against time. In the darkness, a quiet panic gripped General Washington's men. And as the black air grew colder, the tension among them increased. Conditions for crossing had worsened throughout the night. The Delaware was high and flowing fast. Gigantic blocks of ice began to flow, and new ice was beginning to form. Unless this sinister water could be negotiated, their planned attack on Trenton would fail. A powerful wind was whipping over the Delaware, driving relentless as it lashed at the long light draft boats. Even the trained seamen of Glower's regiment began to wonder if fate were entirely against them. The deadline for crossing had been midnight, now long since past. The loading of the 18 field cannons on the narrow boats was painfully slow work. The organization of troops and the treachery of the river had pressed them into the early morning, Christmas morning. It was 3 a.m. before the mission was accomplished. The ice was behind them. Our artillery was unloaded on the New Jersey soil. By 4 a.m., General Washington's men were deployed. In 3 hours, it would be light. There were 9 miles of road to cover, 2,500 troops to move, and the enemy was sleeping at Trenton. You know what happened at Trenton 246 Christmases ago. The first contact with the enemy at 8 a.m., the final surrender before 10 o'clock. Not one American life had been lost, and it would never have come to pass had General George Washington not bet against the odds had the dark Delaware not been crossed that Christmas night. The scene has been immortalized in a painting, and though you're certainly familiar with it, I don't think you know the rest of the story. Of all the stirring, patriotic portraits, perhaps none is so popular, so well known worldwide, as Washington crossing the Delaware. You know the one, George Washington standing in the bow of a Durham boat, facing an ice-ravaged river, crew members harboring at the oars, some prodding the ice away, the flag rippling in the wind. One can practically feel the stinging sleet by merely observing it. Now I know it's the fashion to pick apart great works of art, to detect some small indiscretion, something that could not have possibly have been. But we're not going to do that here, because there's something even more remarkable about that painting. In the first place, there are actually 3 paintings of Washington crossing the Delaware. Same artist, 3 separate versions. One suffered damage in a fire and was subsequently lost. Another was moved in 1851 to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. An impressive work, it hangs there still. But the third version, the one you know, hung in the White House until September of 1973. At that time, it was put up for auction and was purchased privately the following year for $260,000. The current owner, one Dwayne Hilmer of Omaha, Nebraska, released that precious painting during the bicentennial year to the Dusseldorf Art Museum in Germany. In Germany, that's right, the painting had gone home. The All-American Masterwork was painted 75 years after the event, and it was painted by a German artist in Germany. And one wonders if he knew then what the admirers of this borrowed exhibit do not seem to know now. That our George was not crossing the river that night to fight the British, but to fight the Germans. Ha! And now you know the rest of the story. But here, let me show you real quick, just in case you're not sure which picture it is. This is the picture that you've all seen somewhere. You've seen it on TV or in books, or maybe you've actually seen it in the museum. I don't know, you may have been there. But anyway, that's the portrait, that's the picture that we're talking about. And the Hessians were German mercenaries that the British had hired to fight on their behalf for them. So when Washington was crossing the Delaware to attack the troops at Trenton, he was actually crossing the Delaware to fight the Germans. So anyway, kind of a neat story. Thought you'd like it. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye-bye.